you're going to see Donald Trump as I think we are used to seeing Donald Trump. There's no telling how many misstatements are going to.
Ladies and
likely
gentlemen,
come out.
the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much. Please sit. Thank you. This is without question the latest news conference I've ever had. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it very much. And I want to thank the American people for their tremendous support. Millions and millions of people voted for us tonight. And a very sad group of people is trying to disenfranchise that group of people. And we won't stand for it. We will not stand for it. I want to thank the First Lady, my entire family, and Vice President Pence, Mrs. Pence, for being with us all through this. And we were getting ready for a big celebration. We were winning everything, and all of a sudden it was just called off. The results tonight have been phenomenal, and we are getting ready. I mean, literally, we were just all set to get outside and just celebrate something that was so beautiful, so good, such a vote, such a success. The citizens of this country have come out in record numbers. This is a record. There's never been anything like it. To support our incredible movement, we won states that we weren't expected to win. Florida, we didn't win it. We won it by a lot. And we won the great state of Ohio. We won Texas. We won Texas by 700,000 votes, and they don't even include it in the tabulations. It's also clear that we have won Georgia. We're up by 2.5% or 117,000 votes with only 7% left. They're never going to catch us. They can't catch us. Likewise, we've clearly won North Carolina, where we're up 1.4% or 77,000 votes with only approximately 5% left. They can't catch us. We also, if you look and you see, Arizona, we have a lot of life in that. And somebody declared that it was a victory for, and maybe it will be. I mean, that's possible. But certainly there were a lot of votes out there that we could get because we're not just coming into what they call Trump territory. I don't know what you call it, but these were friendly Trump voters. And that could be overturned. The gentleman that called it, I watched tonight. He said, well, we think it's fairly unlikely that he could catch. Well, fairly unlikely. And we don't even need it. We don't need that. That was just a state that if we would have gotten it, it would have been nice, Arizona. But there's a possibility, maybe even a good possibility. In fact, since I saw that originally, it's been changed and the numbers have substantially come down just in a small amount of votes. So we want that obviously to stay in play. But most importantly, we're winning Pennsylvania by a tremendous amount of votes. We're up 600. Think of this. We're up 690,000 votes in Pennsylvania. 600.
Please go vote, people.
These aren't even close. It's not like, oh, It's slow. With 64% of the vote in, it's going to be almost impossible to catch. And we're coming into good Pennsylvania areas where they happen to like your president. I mean, it's like very good. So we'll probably expand that. We're winning Michigan, but I'll tell you, I looked at the numbers. I said, whoa. I said, wow, that's a lot. By almost 300,000 votes, and 65% of the vote is in. And we're winning Wisconsin. So we're winning. We don't need all of them. We need, because when you add Texas in, which wasn't added, I spoke with the really wonderful governor of Texas just a little while ago, and Greg Abbott, he said, congratulations. He called me to congratulate me on winning Texas. I mean, we won Texas. I don't think they finished quite the tabulation, but there's no way. And it was almost complete, but he congratulated me. Then he said, by the way, what's going on? I've never seen anything like this. Can I tell you what? Nobody has. So we won by 107,000 votes with 81% of the vote. That's Michigan. So when you take those three states in particular, and you take all of the others, I mean, we have so many, we had such a big night. You just take a look at all of these states that we've won tonight, and then you take a look at the kind of margins that we've won them by. And all of a sudden, it's not like we're up 12 votes and we have 60% left. We won states, and all of a sudden, I said, what happened to the election? It's off. And we have all these announcers saying, what happened? And then they said, oh, because you know what happened? They knew they couldn't win. So they said, let's go to court. And did I predict this, Newt? Did I say this? I've been saying this from the day I heard they were going to send out tens of millions of ballots.
We're listening to the president speaking at the White House, but we got to dip in here because there have been several statements that are just frankly not true. The president going through some of the states, stating that he has prevailed in those states, naming Georgia, saying they're winning Georgia, or that they won Georgia, there's no way they'll catch us, that they're winning Pennsylvania, won Michigan. The fact of the matter is those states have not come close to counting all of their vote. There's still outstanding vote. Do we have a moment to go to Chuck? We'll keep our ears on this and promise to go back as news events warrant. But just can you explain why it is that it's not possible for anyone to say they've won in this particular state?
Right. So what we have here, first of all, 1.9 million votes have not been counted. Can I repeat? 1.9. That is 3 times the lead that Trump has. Okay, so that is way too many votes, number one. And as you can see, most of this is Election Day vote. We know the president had an advantage on Election Day vote, so we have gotten very little of the early and absentee vote. And then you want to throw in one more way of just seeing, let me just remind you of where we are with Philly. Half of Philly has not come in.
Let's go to Michigan. He said Michigan, that he's running up margins in Michigan, and we've won Michigan. So can you show us how much vote is left over in Michigan that hasn't been counted
As you can see, we've only gotten 2/3 of the vote in. This is actually, so there's just 303,000 difference here. Again, 1.8 million votes are left to be counted. Let me repeat, 1.8. Do the math. It's 6 times, okay?
What about Wisconsin?
All right, so that, and as you can see, most of this is still same-day vote. So this is why Michigan, a lot of people are so bullish for the Democrats on Michigan the minute that vote comes in. And then Wisconsin, this is where, but it's tight, and it's 116, 81% is in. We're waiting for 700,000 votes. And trust me, with Milwaukee being one of the places, 116 is not enough there. And I'll just go you real quick here. Milwaukee, we still have less than half.
And notably, the president also talked about a group of people trying to disenfranchise the vote, winning everything. Let's listen in.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to join you in thanking more than 60 million Americans who have already cast their vote for 4 more years for President Donald Trump in the White House. And while the votes continue to be counted, we're going to remain vigilant, as the president said. The right to vote has been at the center of our democracy since the founding of this nation, and we're going to protect the integrity of the vote. But I really believe with all of my heart, with the extraordinary margins, Mr. President, that you've inspired in the states that you just described, and the way that you launched this movement across the country to make America great again, I truly do believe, as you do, that we are on the road to victory and we will make America great again. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, everybody.
The president not declaring victory in the way that we had perhaps expected him to do, but basically state by state.
I felt like he
Vice
was trying to
President
play.
said at the end what most candidates would say: we're on the road to victory. What Joe Biden said: we feel confident. We think we're going to win. I think the issue is where the president has said we won Georgia and there's no way they can catch us. We won Michigan. That's where you just have to make a factual assertion. There are millions of votes that haven't been counted yet.
I think we know what he's doing here. He's planting seeds for his supporters to take to social media, to take to the conservative ecosystem. And this is where the next 2 days, I think, are going to be excruciating, perhaps he may make it a little more excruciating if he comments on every vote dump that we have. But, as this new vote comes in, him fanning these flames, there are going to be people who want to claim, well, where do those votes come from? Where was that? And this is all standard. And yes, it's different this year because of the pandemic, but this is not unusual. I want to go back to your home state. Arizona regularly takes days to finish a count. 5 days it took them, and that was actually a relatively short period of time in 2018, 5 days to call that Senate race.
And it's worth repeating that projections we're not making the votes up. These are projections. These votes will be counted.
The actual vote.
The actual vote will be counted.
Well, the fact of the matter is that the outcome is not certain at this hour, and that both candidates are very much in this race. So there's no reason to say anything other than that. We have got an electoral battle going on right now with a lot of votes left to be counted.
And the fact is that in this election, more mail-in and early votes were cast than in any other American election. Combination of COVID and concerns about the Postal Service, a lot of reasons for it, and that they have to be counted. These absentee ballots are always counted. Votes from service members, men and women overseas, are always counted in the days following. The elections are not certified state by state until, weeks later when the Electoral College actually votes.
Florida. Military ballots. Remember who argued to make sure the military ballots get counted and stay in? And you got to open those because the Democrats at the time were trying to not get those ballots counted. And the Republicans who knew those...
trying to slow it down.
Well, no, but they wanted those military ballots to count because they thought that those things would lean Bush. So, at least Jordan made a good point here. Donald Trump's got to be careful. There are actually some of this outstanding vote he needs. I mean, he kind of referenced it in Arizona. If he's going to close the gap in Arizona, it's the remaining uncounted vote. So he may not like the uncounted vote in Pennsylvania, but he is going to like the uncounted vote in Arizona.
The problem is that he is creating the atmosphere of conspiracy theory by misrepresenting the remaining vote that is not counted. There is not some conspiracy to stop the count. In fact, in some of those 7 counties in Pennsylvania where they're not counting the mail-in voting, that is something that was objected to by all of the state officials in Pennsylvania who are Democrats. That was a Republican effort to not count until tomorrow.
Let me go.
It's just an unfortunate misleading, and it's from the White House with Hail to the Chief and the American flags, and that is what's creating the false atmosphere of legitimacy to his claims.
Let me go to Kristen Welker right now, who has a little more insight into the counting in Pennsylvania. Kristen?
Well, just to pick up on the point that Chuck was making, I'm hearing from an election official in Pennsylvania who says this, just having listened to the president. Allegheny County has half their mail-in to count. Same with Montgomery County. Erie has 40,000 more to count. And Philadelphia has 300,000 mail-ins. Mail-ins were 70% up in the Democratic favor. This person says this is far from over. So this official watching what the president just said, feeling the need to respond in real time to make that point and to drill down on some of the broad numbers that Chuck just laid out. And again, I would just underscore the fact that this is part of why Joe Biden came out first. This is why he gave the message that he gave. He, of course, gave this rallying cry to his supporters saying he believes they are on track to still win the White House. But he concluded his remarks by saying, this race is not over, and it's not up to President Trump to declare victory. It's not up to me to determine who's won this race. It's up to the American people, and the votes are still being counted. And I think that's why you heard him frame his message in that way. Now, I've circled back with his campaign to say, do you have any further response? They've chosen at this point not to respond. I anticipate we're going to get a more robust response from the campaign and from Biden himself tomorrow. But again, they point us back to those comments by Joe Biden, clearly an attempt to get ahead of what we just heard from President Trump. And there is going to be likely a lot of focus on the battleground state of Pennsylvania.
All right.